Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and some of the country's biggest stars, and we've got one for you today. A lady who's on tour throughout the UK in End of the Rainbow, this wonderful Judy Garland musical and play, really, and she joins us now. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Just glad I got through that matinee. I've got one more to do today.
I know this on a two-show day is probably your nightmare, but I always want to see it before I talk to you, because there's no point me saying it's amazing if it's rubbish and vice versa, but you were pretty good. It's amazing.
Well, thank you very much. I've worked quite hard. I mean, it is a show that you can't just rock up and just do it. There's been a certain amount of prep involved. I've been working with a vocal coach because you have to sing like Judy Garland. You have to talk like Judy Garland. And you have to use... I'm basically using everything I've ever learned in my entire life. There's lots of gags there. So, sort of doing sketch shows and stuff back in the day, that's come in handy. Lots of drama because she was quite a tragic woman. And all the singing. So, yeah, it is a play, actually. It's interesting you say a musical kind of play. It is a play, a brilliantly written play by Peter Quilter, which is award-winning. This is a revival. But there are songs because it's set in London at the Talk of the Town, where she did a 6-week run. She's living at the Ritz. She's absolutely broke, living on her wits and blagging her way in and out of places. But she does this 6-week show at the Talk of the Town. It's supposed to be a big comeback. But because this is a woman with a drug problem who's had a really big drug pill addiction from the age of 12, the demons start to rear up and it all kind of unravels. But it's still funny. It's funny and it's dark and there are songs. It's brilliant.
It is very, very clever. I was lucky enough to interview Lorna Loft just a few weeks ago, and I said, was your mum a nice person? And she sort of sat back in her chair and thought about it. I think she was when she was mummy, but the second the wig went on, that was it. She became this monster, and she wasn't she? She was not a nice person. Certainly in the first half, you see her vulnerability, but you also see that venom.
I can't say that she's not a nice person because I personally love her. I was a fan before I did the play anyway. I also play her. You can't play somebody and dislike them because in order to play them, you have to understand why they do what they do. And she was very much a victim of a time, the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer studio system, and the pushy mothers that did everything they could to get their kids signed to the studios. So she was very much a victim. But what I love about her, in the end, she didn't ever play victim. She was a total survivor, and she had the most wonderful, humorous way of, when the chips were down, of throwing out a one-liner and just, it was a great defense mechanism, her humor. So I defend her. Yes, she was very difficult, but great artists are. And, I'm sure at times she probably wasn't an ideal parent or an ideal wife, but massive stars aren't all the time. To me, she was perfect. She handled it as well as she could have done, but she was given pills at the age of 12 so that she could stay up and perform. And then the studio endorsed that because they said that she got overweight, and so they gave her diet pills, and then the cycle kind of started. And I just, the sad thing is that I think she just wanted to be loved, and she'd had this amazing life as a movie star, but actually I think she wanted to just be someone's wife and someone's mum, but she was too successful for that.
Where do you start with this role? Firstly, you have an amazing speaking voice and you have this resonance in your voice, which is so needed for this because she had a remarkable growl about her. There's the acting, the singing, the shouting, the stunts, the running, the talking. There's a lot to do in this. And let's face it, you've got a wonderful cast with Sam and Gary, but you are the show. You are driving the whole thing. It's an incredible pressure, isn't it? Well,
Sam and Gary are amazing in it. They've got great reviews too. It's, 5 stars right across the board. It is a roller coaster for me. I'm never off stage. The only time I come off is to do a quick change, and literally everything I'm wearing is Velcroed within an inch of its life because there's no time. It's a wonderful opportunity for an actress, but it is the hardest thing I've ever done. I can't pretend it isn't. The rehearsal period, which was a month, and then the kind of 2 weeks rehearsal at Colchester where we opened, and all the technical rehearsals all day, singing all day, fighting. We had a fight director and all of the things that you have to do for this role. it's nearly bloody killed me. I'm not even going to pretend. It's honestly the hardest thing I've ever done, but the hardest bit is behind me. Now I'm just doing the show. I'm going around the country. I'm meeting lovely people that are coming up to me and saying, oh my God, I didn't know you had it in you. And, it's nice to surprise people. So it's all good.
I think people forget you're not a gobshite off the TV that just did Loose Women. You had a whole career before that set you up for today. You couldn't just do this. I mean, as a kid, there are similarities. You were in Annie, you've been in Grease, endless TV roles. This has been your life too. You've never known anything different, really, have you?
No, I did go to stage school, exactly. There are crossovers, and I do get the idea that Judy had, which was that if she performed, she would be loved. Performance is love to her. And as long as I going to stage school, I was very well aware that people liked you more if you were talented, and people liked you more if you turned up on time and you sung when you were supposed to sing and you danced when you were supposed to dance. It somehow validated me as a child. I think it's incredibly unhealthy. I'm not like that now. I couldn't give two hoots about, honestly, about work. I'm not ambitious at all anymore. I'm more interested in being a really good wife and a good mum. But this opportunity came along, and literally, I'm saying to people, it'll be the last job I ever do. And if it is, that's fine by me, because as you said, I've got to use everything I've ever learnt. Working as a child has come into play when I understand the character of Judy as a child. And she's really childlike, even though she was 47 when she died. The way that she lives her life as a 40-year-old woman is very, very childlike. And there's one moment where she's asking Mickey, her fifth husband-to-be, can I have some pills? Please let me have some pills. And she says this line where she says, but I hear what you say, and Judy's going to be a good girl. I'm going to be a good girl, and I will sing and I will dance for you. And you just feel like saying, oh, you poor woman. She thinks that if she says she's a good girl, like a child, that he might let her have her tranquilizer or whatever. It's a very, very, very moving, wonderful, funny story. I love it.
And it's dark and it's grim in places, but it's also hysterical. There are lines in this show and you get these wonderful zingers sort of splattered throughout.
I do, I'm very lucky, very lucky.
And you get to sort of take the whole house down. There are also shocking moments. We should say there is fruity language in this, but she used fruity language. That was the real her. Yes,
there are swear words in the play. We've had a few ladies of a certain age that have come and gone, oh, like that. Especially I let a bit of a humdinger drop about 10 minutes into the show. But Judy Garland was one of the boys. She was very much part of that Rat Pack scene. She was like an honorary member of the Rat Pack. She was a tough old broad, and she swore. And she said it like it is. And you can't tell the story of this woman truthfully, but you can't clean up her act. She was bawdy, she was ballsy, she had a certain attack and she took no prisoners, and she said it like it is. You can't do Judy Garland and not swear. It's not all the way through, just in certain places, just to really emphasize the joke, and also to show that this was a woman that actually didn't care about censorship, didn't care what people thought about her in certain situations, and she was out of control a lot of the time as well.
So here we are, sat with you in all the slap and makeup on a 2-show day. We were previously worked at Loose Women, and that gave you the profile to probably be here, because people love to see you on the telly, and now theatre. How drained are you? Because sort of talking for an hour on telly is not the same as doing 2.5 hours on the stage twice, is it?
No, it's a very different type of show. Although live telly, a lot of adrenaline gets used up, and thinking on your feet is a very useful tool with live television. So with this show as well, there are a couple of moments where I go into the audience and I ad lib. I wouldn't be able to do that had I not had my sort of background. It's not the same. I'm sat down, when I was doing Loose Women, I was just sat down, for goodness sake. I didn't even have to bother to dress from the waist down if I didn't want to.
The ad breaks were longer than the programme, weren't they?
Well, the ad breaks were long, and we had a good old giggle in the middle, didn't we? We used to hate the show coming back because we'd have a little chat. It's a very different thing. Loose Women was great fun, and I'm still mates with all of the girls that were on it at the same time as me. In fact, we text every day. We're like teenagers. We've got a group texting thing we do every day, and they're all coming to Bromley to see this. Very supportive, but it couldn't be more different. To be able to use everything I ever trained to use in one production is frightening, but a fantastic opportunity. And I think we're getting away with it.
What I love about you is you're so credible and relevant. Doing it the hard way does not necessarily pay off, but you always have, and I think that's why you're able to do this, because not many people could pull this off. You did it beautifully. Lisa Maxwell, lovely to talk to you.
That's so kind of you. Such lovely words. Can I just also say, when you talk about the celebrities today and how almost disposable they are. I mean, you've got shows where people are injuring themselves left, right and centre. It's almost like they're doing it because they can just bring in another 25 on a bus, This show is about Judy Garland, a real star. When we had real stars, we don't really have them anymore.
Well, you're certainly one. Come and see the show. It's on tour. Just put in End of the Rainbow into Google and it will come up. You're all across the country through, I think, the end of July, isn't it?
End of June, first week July is when we finish in Cheltenham.
Great to talk to you.
You too, honey.